All right, if I can have everybody's attention, we'll go ahead and get started with our post-race press conference here following the Advocare 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We welcome our third-place finisher, Martin Truex Jr., the driver of the number 56 Napa Auto Parts Toyota. Martin, talk a little bit about that race out there and how you're feeling tonight.
It was an interesting race. It was a hell of a battle for us. Our car wasn't very good most of the night. We had a couple runs where we got, fifth up there, around fifth or so, and then we just really struggled with it. Couldn't get it turning. It burned the right rear off, and just kept battling through that. And then we had to go to the rear with about 100 to go, and really thought we were in big trouble there. But we were able to fight up through there and finally figure out what our car needed towards the end. We just we were probably one or two adjustments away from having something for Joey and Kyle. But all in all, it was a good night for us. It was pretty tough there for a while. Just hanging onto the car with my wrist and all that, so it hurt pretty bad there for a while, and just glad we were able to put together a decent night. Almost had Kyle there on that last restart, almost had him clear, just he got on my right rear getting into three, got me loose, and then once he got ahead of me, I was too tight anyhow, and probably wouldn't have been able to hold him off even if I could have cleared him. So third's a good night for where we were all weekend and for what we had most of the night, and proud of my guys for their efforts.
Joining Martin up on the stage is Joey Logano, our second-place finisher in tonight's Advocare 500, driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. Joey, talk a little bit about your night, obviously leading the most laps tonight and then coming home second. Talk about the race.
You just said it. Leading the most laps and finishing second isn't the most
I know the
fun.
feeling, bud.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you do. No, I mean, my guys did a great job. They gave me an awesome Shell Pennzoil Ford today. The only thing I would change about it is it being better the first 6 laps of a run. After that, the thing was a rocket ship, and we overcame a loose wheel early in the race and cycled ourselves out back to the lead after all that. And then we restarted third with, I think, 30 to go or so. Kyle spun his tires and trying to, you can't pass him. You're trying to get everything going, and, 56 over here, Martin Truex, had a big run, and he stuck at 3 wide, which I don't blame him. It's a great move, and when that happens, you're kind of shuffled out, and I got put all the way back to 6th, and then there's another caution, so I just needed 30 laps of green flag to get all the way up there. Just when there's a restart after another restart, and you don't have a car that's very good on the first 5-6 laps of a run, it just didn't give me the greatest opportunity there, but we were catching them in the last few laps. Just needed 5 more laps to get them, maybe less.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions here in the media center. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. Questions for Martin or Joey? We'll take one in the back with Rick, then come back up to Jim.
Rick Miller, Race Day. Joey, do you consider yourself a favorite to win the chase?
If we get in, I feel like with 3 straight top 5s right now, I think we are. We have a really good shot at it. I think you can't count us out right now. This team's super strong, and it looks like we're hitting our stride, right at the right time here. So. As long as we get in first, and then we'll see what happens. All the guys who are racing tonight, 56, Newman, 78, they all had a good night too. So obviously your points day isn't as good as you wanted it to be. But in general, it is a big deal for us to, or help us get into the chase next week in Richmond. But I do feel like right now we do have a shot at it, but one step at a time right now.
We'll take our next question from Jim, then go over to Nate.
Jim Utter, Charles Observer. This is kind of a follow-up questions to Rick, and I say this half seriously, Joey. At the end of last season, there were people who considered your Sprint Cup Series career washed up at the old age of 23, but you obviously are in your best position to make your first chase, and maybe, although I'm sure you would like to see Brad in it, may be the only representative for Penske if it works out that way. How do you take in this season? What has it been like? I know it got off to a rough start, but how does it look going to this last 11 races?
Well, I mean, it's obviously really tough for Brad tonight. I don't know exactly what happened to his motor, but those are things you can't afford to happen when you're in the positions that both of our cars were in. So we'll have to go back and look at that. But the season in general. After going through a points penalty and going through some tough luck in the beginning of the season, I'm pleased with where we're at. But I want to be more. I want to win more races. I want to be up for the front a little bit more often. And obviously the last 3 weeks we've been there. But like I said, I'm happy with the way we've been running the last few weeks. Yeah.
We'll go to Nate for our next question, then go up to the press box.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports for Martin. At one point during the race, I think you were radioing that the cast had kind of burned through. Are you going to be doing anything different with that for Richmond? And then have a follow-up for that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of broke right here.
Your wrist or the cast?
But both. First the wrist, but now the cast is just inside my hand here. It got all soft. You can kind of see it just moves. It's real soft. It's like nothing there, and it's kind of broke right here between my thumbs. So see what we can do with it. I mean, it feels good now. I mean, it hurts like hell when you're in there just steering the car. I mean, when you're steering back and forth here and you're out of control and you're hanging on and you're just sawing on the wheel on old tires, it felt like every time I move it, somebody's hitting with a hammer. So I don't know what I can do to change that. I mean, it's just going to have to deal with it. I mean, this is probably one of the hardest tracks to drive on, I would say, as far as, how much you turn the wheel, how many times you're catching the car. I mean, you never know what the heck it's going to do. So, I mean, it's like a surprise party every time you drive down the corner here. And so this is a tough place, and I don't think, Richmond will be quite as hard on it. And so we'll just see. But, yeah, I think that, maybe it's just gotten wet from sweat or something and softened up. So we'll have to look into that.
And then a quick follow-up. You're right now, I think, in the second wild card position. You're 5 points ahead of Ryan Newman. Does that give? I mean, does it matter going to Richmond, or is it just
5 points?
Yeah, it's just like you got to win,
good.
right? Yeah.
No, I mean, we were hoping Casey'd stay up in that top 10. He'll be good at Richmond. So it is what it is. We just have to wait and see. We had a good night tonight when we needed it, and last week absolutely killed us. But there's been other races this year that we fell out of that killed us too. So it is what it is. We have to go race hard, and proud that we were able to come here and have a good night when we needed. The pressure was on, and we made it happen. So I thought once we got sent to the back there with 100 to go, I thought we were done. I said you might as well hand over a wild card, but we were able to fight through it. So that's what we'll have to do next week too.
Okay, any more questions down here? A question upstairs got answered. Okay, we'll take one up here with Mike.
Mike Neff from FrontStretch.com for Martin. Last year you kind of gave one away here or had one taken away from you here. This year you rebounded from a bad situation to a good one. Does that give you a little more confidence or feel a little bit better going into Richmond than you did last year when you were rolling out of here?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Richmond's a totally different animal than Atlanta. We did do a test there and felt like we were a lot better there at the test than we were in the spring, but you never know. That place is very, very difficult. A lot like here, you practice in the day, you race at night, the track changes a lot. You never really know what you have till the race starts, and, heck, there's times you can dial it in, there's times that you just can't. So, tonight I wish I had the car I had last year in the circumstances I had tonight, to be honest with you. That's what I really needed. Our car was super last year. Tonight our car wasn't that good. We caught the brakes and had good restarts and was in the right place at the right time and was able to make some moves. Last year we were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and we had a dominant car. We finished fourth. So, I know how Joey's feeling. His car was phenomenal, and I know that feeling is frustrating. But that's all you can do is do your best, and you got to be proud of what you did and go home and try to do better next week.
If both of you could comment on the tire, and I know that was a big topic this weekend of the new tire, the Zone Tread tire coming in. If both of you could talk about what you thought about the tire.
He obviously liked them.
I liked it more tonight than I did last night. I don't know what happened last night to our tire. I don't think it had anything to do with the dual compound deal, but I didn't have an issue with it. It ran pretty good for me. I didn't have every time we had a pit stop. Todd came on the radio and said tires look good. So. A lot of guys were pushing them hard. I don't know if there was any tire failures tonight or not, but it seemed like it was a pretty solid tire. It hung on strong, and I thought it put on a good race for the most part.
I like last year's tire better.
Any other questions?
So we're 50-50 about it, apparently.
He liked them, I didn't. Next question.
Okay, we got a final question in the back. Raise your hand. She'll get a mic to you.
Shane Dwayne with Worldwide Media. Is there anything that you agree about tonight?
We both are mad because we didn't win.
Yeah, we both agree that sucks.
All right, guys. Congratulations on your second and third place finish,
Appreciate
and
it.
Thanks,
good
guys.
luck next weekend in Richmond.